Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, an agreement between the NHS and the Home Office to share patients' addresses for immigration enforcement purposes should be ended immediately, according to the chair of the Commons Health Committee, the MP, Dr. Sarah Wollaston. She has written to the head of NHS Digital, warning that the arrangement will not only undermine confidence in patient confidentiality, but put at risk efforts to build public support for data sharing that could assist medical research in the future. Well, Dr. Wollaston joins me now from the House of Commons. Just explain what was going on.
Well, basically, what was happening is there's a memorandum of understanding set up between the Home Office and between NHS Digital, which is, if you like, a branch of the Health Service, which is accountable both to Parliament and to the Secretary of State, a so-called arm's length body. And they unilaterally, effectively, rewrote the rules on confidentiality and started handing over patients' addresses on request if there were immigration issues. And what we felt was that was completely unethical, that they were completely disregarding the warnings about this from the Data Guardian, the National Data Guardian. They ignored the ethical issues which were raised with them by, for example, the General Medical Council, because effectively doctors had a conflict here. You know, they were taking patients' addresses, and if they were themselves handing this data over in that way, they would be found in breach of their duties as a doctor. But actually they were handing this data over to NHS Digital, and NHS Digital were doing it. So there was a serious conflict there. But more importantly even than that was the fact that there were warnings about the public health potential risks of doing this data sharing if it meant that people perhaps with serious illnesses weren't actually seeking help as a result, and perhaps that could mean that not only the risks to them as individuals, but the public health risks if they had communicable diseases, for example, that weren't being picked up and treated. So there were very many issues here around the public interest test in sharing information. And what we had been reassured when I first wrote to NHS Digital was that they were going to make this public interest test on a case-by-case basis, because we already accept, and there's been a long-standing principle, that, for example, where the police are investigating a serious crime, that this kind of sharing can happen.
So in that case you would. But it's a question of what's a serious crime, isn't it? And a lot of people feel illegal immigration is a serious crime, and if the British state has on record someone's address, they should use it.
Yes, but the point is that you have to weigh that interest up with what happens if there is a collapse in confidence around your information being kept confidential by doctors. And so what most people recognise is that the public have to have absolute trust that their personal information will be guarded as very precious and important by doctors and the NHS more widely. And for NHS Digital to just unilaterally make a decision that they would do these sort of block handovers of data, not look at it on a case-by-case basis, we felt that had very serious unintended consequences.
Sarah Wollaston, thank you very much indeed for joining us. We'll wait to see what the response is from NHS Digital and whether they listen to you.